This time on Roadkill, the Super Camaro is on a radical road trip.
We bought the Camaro with the biggest badonkadonk I've ever seen.
Dude, it is super 70s on Pacific Coast Highway. We're heading to race. Check out my latest online score. It's the Super Camaro, a 1970 or 71 model that was built in the late 70s in a style that could have only come from the late 70s. I also got a vintage twin turbo engine that was in the car in the early 80s, and someday we'd like to get that going. But for now, we're hoping that the current engine is good enough for a road trip between here and Tucson, Arizona, and historic Laguna Seca Raceway in Salinas, California. Neither Finnegan nor I have ever been to Laguna Seca, so this is gonna be epic. Dude, I may cry. I'm so excited about this thing.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is your finest purchase ever.
This is the first time I've laid eyes on it in person.
Oh my God, dude.
Man.
He anodized the door sill plates blue to match the gel-coated fiberglass wide body. Oh my God.
Wow, how 1979 is that? That's about the time I think this was built, 1979.
Are those airplane gauges?
Yeah, it's got that airplane switch panel. Look at the tiny steering wheel. Look at the seats. The wide body. Everything about this is exactly what I wanted it to be from when I was like a kid reading CarCraft, PHR.
Dude, this is incredible. This is, I think, the most we've ever spent on a car on Roadkill, and it's worth every penny.
It is 100% the most we've ever spent.
Does it flip open or something?
It's hydraulically open from what I saw in the ad. I have no idea how to do it.
The front end is my high school Camaro.
Right.
The back end is your Camaro, but with the spoiler off my high school Camaro. And it's all one-piece wide body. Like, dude, these are like 17 or 18-inch wide Mickeys on the back.
I think the whole quarter panel is fiberglass. It's not just bondoed on.
Yeah, look, the whole back end, the tail panel is fiberglass.
Yeah, it's a 1970 or 71 in the back, and I bet you when he was building it, it was like IROC era. Maybe he could get a 74, 75 front clip, or he just wanted it to look more modern. I don't know. But there we go.
Whoa.
Ooh, big fuel cell.
Dude, that's a nice one, too.
Look at this ancient fuel pump.
No, that's the hydraulic pump for the front end to open it.
Oh, you're right. That's what it is. I've got to give you the context on this thing because I know there's a lot of people who are looking at it and they're either going, that's hideous, or they're going, that is awesome, but they don't understand why. Now, for me, it goes back to the mid-70s where if you were a muscle car guy and you wanted handling, there was no pro touring to be had. The look is this, the wide body, what they called then the IMSA look, based on IMSA racing. It was the Mulholland Racer look. Mulholland Highway in California, twisty road, guys would gather at night and street race. It's like a mashup of a dirt track car with a big open front end and an IMSA car with the wide flares. It is awesome. I cannot wait to drive it. And Finnegan thinks he's about to drive this thing away, but I'm taking the keys.
The Camaro works for me for two reasons. One, rarely do we ever get an automobile on Roadkill that is actually built well. This thing is nice. This is not a hunk of junk that we normally play with. And two, I've got a lot of nostalgia right now. There are pieces of this car that remind me of the very first car I ever owned in my life, which is a 1976 Chevy Camaro I had in high school. The car also reminds me of a movie I saw as a kid called Six Pack that starred Kenny Rogers as a dirt track racer. I don't even care if I get to drive the thing. I just want to ride around in a car that I kind of had in high school and daydream about being Brewster Baker. There are 12 switches. Oh, front, up, down. That opens the hood, I bet.
Ooh, let's do it. The shifter's got a very weird pattern on it.
So does this tilt? Open sesame. Oh my God, it's working. Keep going. I think it's a linear actuator, and that's why it's so slow.
Well, that hood is so thick.
Dude, that is so cool. So it's a small block Chevy with HEI.
Oh, the guy's name is right on it. Built by R.J. Boscher. See that?
It's got a 4160 carb. That is a monster radiator.
Dude, the gauges, it's genius. Ooh, the side pipes.
Yeah,
Dude.
they're not connected anymore. They must have gone to turbos or something.
Yeah, this thing had 2 turbos blowing through a Holly on it. You gonna figure out how to run it? Ooh, that's promising. I already smell old gas. Whoa. This runs better than anything we own.
Yeah. Let's go drive it.
This is cool. Put the hood down. It'll take about 20 minutes.
All right.
Okay, ignition, fan. Got it.
So we only need 2 of the 12 switches need to be on for the car to run.
Okay, there's reverse, neutral, drive.
And we're driving.
With my 10-inch steering wheel.
Oh, the tires hit the side pipes. That's what you're feeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not very drivable.
12-inch wide wheels on the front of a Camaro. Not a lot of turning radius, even with the fiberglass, I think.
Oh, the brakes are awful.
What do you mean? We just stopped.
Yeah. Don't want to be road racing it that way. Oh, yeah. This car's undrivable. That's the turning radius.
This car's amazing. See, we made the turn. Good, good. Just pretend you're in a motorhome. That hopefully does burnout.
Wow, it's slow. That's Ford, by the way.
That's Ford?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Where'd the turbo motor go that came with this car?
Yeah. Let's see. The shifter says park, reverse, neutral, drive, SL, and then on the other side it goes 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah, you were in third, which is why I wouldn't accelerate.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got 3 gears.
You'll figure it out once you're driving it. It's weird.
I don't know if you're gonna let me drive it.
If it gets much worse, I will. It really, like, steers everywhere.
This is one of the better seats I've had.
Something's wrong with the tune-up, really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't run good.
I didn't want to work on this. I just wanted it to be glorious.
Have you seen the show? Faster you go, the better it rides.
Yeah.
It's really quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet. It's 160 degrees. Good oil pressure.
Philosophically, I'm struggling because I love the look of the side pipe, but they don't function.
Right.
So I feel weird leaving them on here.
They do complete the look of the car, but they would be better if it had the turbos on it. We can't really take it down the drag strip till it's fixed. Troubleshooting is easy. We had no brake fluid. How about you?
1 spark plug wire entirely off the motor, so I'll just push that back on there and we should be good.
Yeah, plus there was like 4 more that were kind of danglers, so hopefully that solves our brake problem and our performance problem.
So pour brake fluid and then let's try Laguna Seca.
Yep.
All right, tune-ups done.
Before we leave, we have to solve our fuel starvation problem. I hope it's just a fuel filter or something, but first I'm just gonna throw a timing light on it, see where that's at, and then we'll start troubleshooting.
I think it just ran out of gas, dude. Maybe we're out of gas.
What, it's just out of gas, it could be. Well, that right there was only 20 degrees of timing. Let's have a look in here.
The fuel level is on top of the pickup. Like, there's barely any there.
Yeah, we need gas. We're about to fuel it up with one of the greatest roadkill tech tips of all time. It is the traffic cone fuel funnel.
Max flow.
Yeah. Why don't they use these at Indy?
I think they do.
Maybe.
They just paint them all kinds of cool colors and make them out of billet. Look at that. It's practically done.
That is flow. 6 seconds.
3/4 of the way
7
done.
seconds. Boom!
Dude.
8.7 on the traffic cone. And just think how much it could be improved if we just simply pocket knifed that thing a little bigger. That is key right there.
Port match it to the fuel cell.
And you can find them anywhere. Okay, back to ignition timing. Carburetor still empty. That's 40.
It already runs better.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take it back one tiny hair.
Even at part throttle, it was way happier now.
Yeah, let me lock the distributor down and then give us a shot.
Okie dokie.
Do we turn right?
Yep.
Ah, this thing runs bad.
It runs bad.
We don't have a functional tach, but that's a lot of RPM.
What about that switch that says torque converter? I feel better.
Does nothing. I did read from a guy who knew the guy who built this that it had a switch pitch converter in it at one time.
So you could electrically change the pitch of it?
Yeah. Wow. It literally lays over the fins to change the stall speed in the converter with a solenoid.
Wow.
It's a GM factory thing.
That's pretty sweet.
I smell burning oil.
That's from the massive oil leak on the top of the motor that's running onto the bell housing.
I think that's the back of the manifold.
We're gonna make it. We've got 4 days to get to Salinas, home of Laguna Seca Raceway.
Yep. That's genuine fire smell. What do you think?
Nah.
Are you sure?
Wow, we're halfway to the highway. We're doing good.
And we're headed to the highway. Isn't that Judas Priest?
I'm living after midnight.
Living after midnight, rocking to the dawn, loving till the morning, and I'm gone, I'm gone. Oh, man. This thing is puffing, burning oil. And I don't see it coming outside the car. It's all coming through the firewall or something.
I think it's coming up through the stick shift.
Can we just look and see what's going on?
Sure.
Perhaps the only disadvantage to this particular pinnacle of 70s greatness is the hydraulic opening forward tilting hood. Every time you change the oil or check the oil, you got to go through this process right here. So while we take a little break, let me tell you something that really got my hackles up, like a hairball in my throat as soon as I saw it. Someone on social media called this a pro street car. No! Pro street car is fat meats tucked up under the car. This thing is wide-bodied out with fat meats sticking out with fender flares. Why would they do that? Well, first, to get wide meats. Second, to get a wider stance for that ultimate handling. That went up remarkably quickly. Sometimes this can take up to like 4 or 5 minutes. But now I hear the hydraulic fluid leaking out. I hear the air bubbles. It's still moving. Okay, now we can find out how much of this oil has turned to black lung.
Oh, there's still some in there.
Yeah, but it needs at least a quart. It is pouring either out of the distributor hole or out of the back of the manifold or both. The problem I had is the faster I drove on the freeway, the more oil was flying around in the lifter valley and leaking out of the back.
Oh yeah, she full. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It really does.
You know what else will? When you get to drive this pooch.
Is it my turn?
It's now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Steady as she goes. This is cool. This is some straight up mini truck 70s van stuff happening right here. Boom, and look at the engineering. Boom, right into place. Okay, weirdest shifter ever.
Oh yeah, that's the weirdest shifter ever.
Reverse, neutral,
Drive.
drive.
That's all you need to know.
Got it. So, donuts is what you're saying.
You can attempt it.
All right. Well, I like the little wheel.
It's cool, isn't it?
This is just like playing Ivan Stewart's video game back in the...
You're right.
It needs the nitro boost button. This drives exactly like the Hornet.
Oh, it's sketchy.
Does it drive straight?
No. You'll get used to it though. get to go with the flow. The smoke is cut down. I guess it's because you're not driving as fast as I was. The faster you go, the more smoke comes inside. Sun's going low. We're in Barstow. I don't want to breathe more fumes. I'm kind of down to stop, let it cool off overnight, and change the intake manifold in the morning.
I'm down with that. I'm done breathing oil smoke.
It's really bad. We've been in denial, but now that it's freezing, we need to fix it. I think that when we take the intake manifold off to fix the oil leak, we also have to take the carburetor and distributor out, and so maybe we can also fix the performance problem.
Yeah.
I have to show you something. So there was a lot of smoke inside, right? And all of a sudden the exhaust is way louder than it used to be, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This.
Did your Whoopie catch on fire?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Where does the poncho?
No. Burned clear through. That's how hot the floorboard is on this thing. I think the header has come loose. So I guess I'm gonna go 10-200 for about 20 minutes while you open the hood.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You can do it. Dude, it's out of fluid or something. Because, yeah.
Fire it up.
It stopped. No, it's out of fluid. It stopped.
I don't know how you get fluid in that system.
Oh, there it goes again. If only RJ Bosher was here to tell us how to fill the system with fluid.
Oil is dumping right there. The problem we're experiencing with this thing performance-wise, not oil leak-wise, is that it cruises along just fine, but you get past a certain throttle position regardless of RPM, and it just falls on its face. Just starts breaking up, has no power. My gut still says fuel, but we're gonna start by changing the module in the HEI and even the coil in the HEI, just because we were at the parts store, so we bought both things at the same time. So here is the HEI distributor cap. HEI means high energy ignition, and it has the coil right here in the cap. It plugs in right there, and there's an electronic module in the distributor right here, which is the triggering device.
Oh, that's been butchered. Oh, it's melted too at one point. Check that out.
I'm going to say that the leak is probably the distributor because of the way there's oil all the way on the underside of your gasket there and all the way around this sealing surface. So clearly, oil's getting up out of the manifold and past that gasket. So we're not gonna take off the intake manifold right now. We're gonna inspect the distributor, see if we can fix it, see if we can seal it back up and get it back in.
I see a problem. So the plug melted.
Oh yeah, burned out terminal, shoved together. Those were touching for sure. We actually have a brand new MSD distributor with us. I'm gonna check the part number on it and find out if it'll actually fit this engine. I looked it up. We actually have the right distributor with us, and you can see that it has a regular advanced curve in it. It has springs and weights, just like old school. So I'm gonna go through and pick the curve that I want by changing the springs. You can find in the instructions right there. They tell you ignition curves, RPM, weight, stop pushing, all that stuff. Super simple.
As soon as Dave's done fixing the distributor and getting it ready, that can go in, new plug wires can go on, and we can fire it up and set the timing again.
There we go. Fixed. Now we're ready to put the new distributor in. I'm gonna put it in a different place where the old one was. So I'm pulling number 1 spark plug. I'm gonna put my finger over the hole, not in the hole, and ask Finnegan to bump it around. That plug is wasted. And hopefully I can identify a mark on the damper that indicates top dead center on the number 1 cylinder of the engine. All right, tick, tick, tick. That's good. I'm gonna do something you're not supposed to do. I'm gonna put 2 distributor gaskets on the distributor, and hopefully that fixes our oil leak. The reason I'm gonna do it is I don't know if the distance between the seat of the distributor inside the engine and that pad that's machined on the block is actually too tall, and if I add extra thickness to the gasket, it might help seal it. The reason you're not supposed to do that is that it does pull the distributor up out of the cam gear a little bit, and of course disengages the oil pump just a little bit, but we're gonna be okay. And on the small block Chevy, the vacuum canister wants to be right about there, and the rotor wants to point directly to the number 1 cylinder, which is the furthest forward one on the driver's side. There we go. Happened perfectly. spark plugs I took out are really, really fouled, wasted. They were not that bad when we left town. Number 6 and 8 are junk. Hopefully it doesn't happen again when I put these new spark plugs in with our new ignition system. It's gonna be amazing to drive this thing if it has power. That is super not pro and super roadkill. I think we're ready to fire this thing up and time it.
We've made this car worse. Before, it just ran poorly. Now it doesn't run at all. We put in a complete new ignition system, including a new distributor, a new coil, plug wires and plugs, and now the car won't run at all. We have zero spark. And it's either because the magnetic pickup in this distributor isn't telling the coil to fire, or the coil can't fire because there's something wrong with it.
What a morning. The first distributor that we got with the car was all shredded and leaking and garbage and hopefully causing our performance problem. The second one we put together wouldn't fire. Don't know why. Maybe because it only had 9 volts cranking? Who knows? Brand new HEI from the parts store. We know that it runs. We don't know if it runs well. I'm gonna time this thing, and then I think we're finally gonna hit the road and see if we actually improved this car or just bolted a bunch of junk to it. That's it. It developed a bad exhaust leak too. That must have happened in the middle of the day yesterday. I don't remember that before. It's pouring oil out of the back of the intake manifold. Yeah. After Mike gets the hood closed in about 9 minutes, we'll be hitting the road to see if we actually fixed anything. We're gonna be looking for smoke from the oil leak or not oil leak, not sure yet, and we're gonna be looking for like engine performance.
Get down!
Get down!
Engage.
Oh.
We got new spark plugs, we got new wires, we got a new distributor. I'd be okay with that.
I don't want to breathe smoke all day. It was so bad. Ah! So it's a carburetor problem, right?
It seems to be a carburetor problem.
I want to pull the rear bowl off the carburetor and see if something's blocking the jets. The secondary opens and something goes wrong. Maybe it's dumping fuel. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
This is the fastest I've ever gone in it, and I don't mind telling you, I'm afraid.
All right, I'm not getting the waft, the smoke.
Right? So we didn't totally waste our day.
That super sketched out, cross-wired, crusty HEI was actually working fine.
Yep.
Yep. But the other thing is if you come to a stop and lean into it real slowly, you'll see you'll get more RPM out of it before it starts to fall apart. See? It's at different RPMs depending on how you load it. Yeah. Can we slow down?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. I return to my prior notion that it is a fuel system problem. The oil leak might be fixed. The performance problem is not fixed. The hood is not better. It's not smoking as much, but I'm gonna look for the oil leak. And look at that, I melted my shoe on the floor of the car. It's so hot. It's gushing oil. Oil everywhere from the back of the manifold. Yep, 100% back of the manifold oil.
What in the world is wrong with this car? It still leaks oil, it still runs like crap. All we've done today is throw parts at it with no real solution.
I think it is fuel system related, but I've clearly been wrong most of my life. So we're gonna stay here and pull the intake manifold off, which means taking the distributor out, taking the carburetor off, pulling the intake, scraping all the gaskets, getting the water out of it first, putting it all back together, and hopefully somewhere along the way I find where the performance problem is, and we also fix the oil leak.
We should be good at this by now.
Let me see what's wrong with this carburetor. You want to pull the distributor out, and then when that cools off, we'll drain the water and do the intake?
Okay.
Okay. Here's one clue already. I turned it upside down like this to drain it, and I barely got any fuel out of the secondary, and I got a ton out of the primary. And if you look in there, there's also a bunch of goop in the secondary.
Maybe there's a bunch of white stuff in the bottom of it from E85 sitting in it or something, and the jet's clogged. Oh, that's rusty water, dude.
Uh-huh. That's what I thought. Remember I kept saying it's like the secondary? Yeah, see the top float bowl screws are not rusty. The bottom ones are all rusty. These have been sitting at the bottom in the water, these have not. See what I'm saying?
So all the water sits in the bottom of the bowl, and that's where the jets are.
Uh-huh. There you go. I feel vindicated.
Oh, dude.
I called it.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The secondary is a disaster. Remember I kept saying, man, it's like when you tip in, you're not getting any fuel out of the secondary. That's exactly what it is. The back of this carburetor is filled with goop. I feel so much better about myself.
It looks like rock candy.
So there's guaranteed our performance problem. So I'm gonna be working at scrubbing at this, and Mike's gonna be fixing our oil leak problem. And when we leave here tomorrow, it will all be flawless. The Super Camaro will be super once again. Okay, Mr. Minifold, here we go.
I like to pre-install the distributor in the intake and use it to line it up.
Oh, okay. All right, clutch head screws off. Being super careful not to rip the gasket. Look at that, see? This is why I had to get that plate apart, because you can see the fuel gets sucked through right there. It still would have had no fuel, even though we cleaned up the outside of it so much. I think I've won. I think I've got it all clean. I think I've got the rubber bushing smushed in far enough on the transfer tube. I think it's gonna work.
I'd like this to be the last time today that I do this. All I gotta do now, tighten down the cap, spark plug wires on, and then let it sit overnight. I'm not confident all of that silicone dried. So we'll let it dry overnight and then test fire tomorrow. I can't guarantee it's gonna run any better, but we're leaving Barstow.
Barstow is the home of Robert E. Peterson, the founder of Hot Rod Magazine in 1948, Motor Trend in 1949. Our 70s hydraulic hood doohickey has failed us.
Come on, little hood. Yesterday, we rebuilt the entire front end of the fuel system and ignition systems on this car. And in theory, we should be able to fire it up and drive it away today, except our hood won't open. And it's actuated by a hydraulic pump in the trunk of the car, which does not have a reservoir, but we're pretty sure it's low on fluid. There was fluid in the trunk. We think it needs to be bled. We think there's air in the system. So what we're gonna try now is disconnect both lines from both hydraulic cylinders, put them in a bottle of ATF, and then manually grab the hood and open it up and close it a couple times and see if that will bleed the air out of the system and fill the lines and get us on our way.
It's got some resistance.
Yeah.
It's pushing the fluid out of
It's
one.
pushing it out of one
Side
and drawing it in the other, which is what it's gonna do. Yeah, now we're
It's starting to move. Yeah. Let's just see if we can get it all the way open.
okay. This just proves how little I know about hydraulic power systems. We got the hood open. We haven't really solved anything on the hydraulic system, but we're gonna move on to see if we can make this engine run. We just had to set TDC, set the timing, put the spark plug wires back on, and put water in it, so this should be quick. Can you tick it, and I'll make the distributor go down, and then we'll have to check it again. Okay, that's in. Now we're gonna need to go all the way around. Big. Stop right there.
So we're just about to start the engine when Freiburger realized we never fixed the problem with the exhaust on the passenger side of the car. So we just jacked it up, and I found the driver's side collector missing 2 nuts. There was no gasket. It was basically falling apart, which is why the hot exhaust was going straight at the floor of the car. The other side is just as bad, so we're gonna fix that. And then we're gonna try to leave Barstow again.
All right. He fixed that header gasket. I fixed this header gasket. He did the manifold, I did the carburetor, we did the carburetor, we did the timing. So when it doesn't run right now, I guess what I'm saying is that it's a group failure.
All right.
Doesn't run good.
It sounds horrible.
We had to check the firing order. 3, 6. The firing order is correct. Are they all plugged in? Wow, this thing runs awful. It runs even worse than when it wasn't running at all. It's because it's glugging fuel is why. Rear float bowl set too high. Here's something you don't see me adjust a whole bunch. There is a lot of slop in the accelerator pump discharge lever here, so that when Mike just whacks the throttle like that, there's a bunch of slop being taken up before it actually squirts. So I'm gonna lengthen this a little bit, take out that slop, and it'll have more squirter nozzle sooner. We can make it work. Okay, that's pretty good. Wanna see if I fixed it? Okay. You want to try and shut the hood?
All right, going down.
Oh, wait. There, oh. There we go. Gravity. Oh, let me put the air cleaner on.
It's falling.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna lose the shop.
I
Hurry
got
up.
this. I'm gonna lose my arm.
This is a Raiders of the Lost Ark moment right here. It's Indiana
Will
Jones.
Freiburger, get the air cleaner on before the hood severs his arm. Yes. We're out of here.
Oh, it's a different car, dude.
Runs way better. What?
It's better. It's not misfiring. But
It's
it ain't
still
fast.
doing that.
It's not faster. No, it wasn't breaking up. It's just not fast.
Oh no, it was lean misfiring.
But it sounds better and it doesn't stink. The carburetor didn't fix the alignment.
But how does it feel right now?
I like it.
So much quieter, so much less smoke.
Zero smoke.
Everything seems uneventful now. We're just driving our Camaro. Pretty sure this does burnouts now.
It's got to, right?
So it has no power and reasonable traction.
This is gonna be great at Laguna Seca.
We are on our way to Rods West. Guy Don Waldron, who we have not seen since episode 8 of Roadkill, when we were taking the bare shell of the car that would become Blasphemy.
And I have talked to him a few times over the years and you know, let him know what happened to those 2 wheels that he flowed me when we came by. They're still on the front of Blasphemy. They've been everywhere.
Yep, and now I'm looking for wheels for the F-Rod, my Model A Ford hot rod that's been getting built on Roadkill Garage, and that someday will run and drive if only I can get wheels from the Don. And that's his with the trailer out front right there. Yeah. Wow. Time warp, flashback, deja vu.
Oh, a Cadillac is awesome. Hey, Don.
Hey guys,
It's only been 9 years.
seems like only yesterday.
Good to see you.
It's great to see you guys.
Yeah.
You know, every time that episode airs, I get calls from all over the country.
Wow.
Those wheels I got from you are still on the front of my Blasphemy.
I actually have an agenda for being here, which is I'm building a 31 coupe.
Okay.
And I need some 15 by skinny fronts for it, like some slot mags.
No slots.
No slots? Unfortunately, Don said he doesn't really have what I'm looking for, but it doesn't matter because we're just gonna walk around here with him and see some radical stuff, and it's gonna be very cool to reconnect with Don.
This is a car that I had since I was in high school.
You've had this since you were in high school?
Yeah, in 1965, I started to build this car just like this.
This thing is awesome. I like the roll bar.
Before you guys leave, I'll start it up.
Have you ever seen a 15 by 3.5 Daisy, like a 200S?
That's the toughest wheel to find.
That's what I thought.
I still have a lot of wheels, but I'm trying to think of something that would be early period.
I'll show you a picture of the car so you have an idea. This is probably a 4, isn't it?
It could be. It has the curved spokes or the
No,
straight?
it's a straight spoke.
Then it's a 5. It's a TTO.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that's a really nice wheel, and
Yeah.
when I go up and I see the D wheel on it,
Yeah, I hate that.
yeah, that's the wrong wheel.
It's totally wrong.
I have a friend that does have some slots, and you want your wheels to be great.
Okay, well, that was cool. I'm glad we went.
Yeah, Don's cool.
He didn't have the wheels that I needed, but I think he's gonna dial me in with the wheels that I need.
Don is connected like the mafia with wheels. He will find them.
Man, it's been a nice drive already this morning. Nice coastline, ocean air, and the car runs like doo-doo.
Yeah, imagine that. Different day, same result.
Doo-doo.
Runs horrible and the hood won't open.
It's not as bad as it used to be, but the carburetor is enough junk that we went and bought another one. So we're gonna do a nice seaside carburetor swap here with our new pet here.
That's Henry.
Oh, Hank?
Yeah.
Hey, Hank.
It's got webbed feet like a duck.
Can you open the hood? Would you mind?
No one can open that.
Give it a shot.
Come on, dude. Do something. Come on, Hank. Right here.
Okay, let's open the hood and change your carburetor.
You've been a huge asset to the team, Hank. Thank you for all your help. Go ahead.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad. Is it ready to go?
Now it is.
Here we go. Poor carburetor. Ta-da! New carburetor. This is a Holly Street Avenger. This one has center hung float bowls and dual feed on it, but I think it came with a fuel line kit. Other than that, it should just drop on and replace. Easy. Looks cooler.
The last piece of the puzzle. Stud to hold the air cleaner on. And then it'll just start right up, require minimal effort on our part to tune it, and we'll be on our way with a faster, more reliable car. Wanna make noise?
Yep. There we go. Perfect. Shut it off. You have a fuel leak? That's leaking super bad. I think it's the hose. You wanna give it a shot?
Sure.
Fixed.
Ah, much better.
Still sounds lazy, doesn't it?
Yeah. The only thing we haven't done is pull the valve covers at this point.
Nah.
All right, let's go.
This thing is still weak. Something's wrong with it.
Got a lot of traction.
Yeah, that too. It has never run smoothly, ever. Even now with our new carbutator.
It's better than it was, but it's still,
Yeah,
maybe it needs spark plugs now.
it's just a turd.
It is a turd. Oh, this is awesome. Look at this.
This is really sweet.
I used to say I only miss the tacos and my friends after leaving California. I could miss this. This has been an unforgettable trip for me personally.
Well, and Hank.
Who can forget Hank? He was so instrumental in putting that newer, not better carburetor on this engine.
Yeah, this engine's a mess. It's got to have the turbo motor in it.
Yeah.
It really does.
Oh, dude. I mean, the side pipes need to be put to good use.
They're humiliating otherwise.
You know what we haven't done really well on this trip?
Tuned up the motor?
That. Or a proper burnout.
Yeah.
We made it! Our burnout was just a waft of smoke away from the gates of world-famous Laguna Seca Raceway. You know, I always say don't get it right, just get it running. And if we'd tried to perfect the Camaro, we probably would have never left Tucson. But instead, we hit the road and found out exactly how much we love this absurd car. We may have never found out that the engine is a complete roach if we hadn't road tripped it, but that's the least of our worries. What's far more urgent is to find out if Super Camaro's handling can match the promise of those massive meets. We're gonna hit Laguna Seca and run it against the NASCARlo and the Roxen. We're also gonna find out if any of those Roadkill cars can outrun a bone stock V6 rental car. You'll see all of those answers and all of the action on the next episode of Roadkill.
The beauty of this, though, as I lean over to put oil in the thing, it will slowly come down like a guillotine and put this point of the fender directly in the back of my neck. But now it's open. We can move on.
We probably should do quickly because this looks like it's falling down again. And as we all know, that's dangerous. This could just chop my head in half right here. If my head gets chopped in half, whoa, who's gonna talk?